Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Now, free agency is very slow right now, so we're going to have to talk about a few things. All starting with Enrique Freeman. Came out today, said he was happy to be a free agent. Now, we know that he wasn't really a contributor last season. He was the 50th pick out of Akron. Had his role on the team, was mainly used as a double-double threat in the G League, with averages of 17 and 10 in the 14 games that he played for Noblesville. Never really found his footing in Indiana. Had a feeling that he would either get cut or could get brought back just to kind of try him out again, kind of like we did with Kendall Brown a few seasons ago. Drafted him in the second round, gave him a few seasons, didn't really pan out. I know he ended up in Brooklyn playing for the Long Island Nets too. But interesting here what he said. I mean, he got cut from a team that went to the NBA Finals, but now he's free to sign anywhere else. He's most likely going to pick up a two-way deal, or he's going to end up being a 10-day contract type of player. But now he's kind of free to just pretty much go wherever he wants and kind of just try to build something for himself. I think he's got potential, nothing crazy. He's all around decent player. To make the NBA, you have to be an all-around decent player at minimum. But he's someone he's a decent three-point shooter, good rebounder. So it's just, you would like to see more from him pretty much everywhere. He is a little smaller than most centers, but he is mostly a power forward, and he's going to end up switching between power forward and center wherever he plays. A little undersized, but could still get you some minutes, mainly in garbage time, but maybe he can develop into a rotational piece, I see. But, I wish the best of luck to Enrique Freeman. This one's a little interesting. Everyone's been wondering what Thomas Bryant's going to do. Obviously, after we traded for Huff and signed Wiseman and re-signed Jackson, Bryant was pretty much gone, and especially after Tony Bradley ended up picking up his extension for a year. We just knew that Thomas Bryant was out of the team. But what most people wouldn't guess is that he's leaving the NBA for the season in general. I mean, he's made it to 2 finals in the last 3 seasons. He's played. At least he played with the Pacers in the finals. He didn't really play for the Nuggets. But now he's going to Greece, probably going to Panathinaikos. I hope I said that right. But, it's a little harder to say the international names. But this is an interesting one. Happy for Bryant if he can get a good deal, kind of revive his career overseas. Not that he's a very decent player in the NBA. It's not like he was, bottom of the rotation. Now, he kind of fell out a little bit during the Thunder series, which was a little interesting. I wasn't really expecting that. But, how NBA players, whenever they get their chance to play in Europe, they have a good season in Europe, most likely right back in the NBA. He's still young. Very rarely do you get like a Kemba Walker situation where he goes to Monaco for a year and then just retires from basketball in general. I think Thomas Bryant will be in the league right after this season. Just put up some good numbers in Europe and just come back stronger. Next and foremost, it's a slow day. Talk about Pascal Siakam, just kind of what he means to this community. He's a big fan of being here in Indiana, and we love to have him here. He attended the Brickyard 400. Congratulations to Bubba Wallace, by the way. Absolutely great milestone, great win for him. And, just Siakam being one of those people that goes out there, supports his community, supports the city that he's in. He was big in Toronto as well. I mean, he's always been one of those guys that's like, okay, I play here, this is my city, I do whatever I need to do for my city. And I really respect that. But obviously, events like the 500, the Brickyard, all those kind of events, the WNBA All-Star Game, the NBA players for the Pacers a lot of them are gonna show up. And as someone like Siakam, who's, if there's no trades between him, he's gonna be here for the next 3 to 4 years. So just getting used to seeing Siakam at all these events, getting used to seeing him front and center, pretty much just, with the fans, with the racers, or just whoever's competing, whatever's being done here in Indy, Indy does host a lot of events. So definitely, if you go to any of those events, you're gonna end up running into someone like Pascal if you're pretty close to the action, or if you're like backstage tickets or something. And then I kind of just want to talk a little bit about the disabled player exception, just because it's it's only been in the league for a couple years. It was really brought into the attention last season, especially because the Pacers had to get two players in that. So players like Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman, both of them got injured really early in the season. Both of them were confirmed to be out for the whole year. So a little bit of money ended up going towards the Pacers. You can pretty much use that to sign a player for a year, or kind of use it as like a trade exception, and kind of go a little bit over how much you need to, like, instead of salary matching, kind of go a little bit over. It's an interesting topic. It's only been around for a little bit, but this season's going to be very interesting just because of how high the exception is for the Pacers. There's a $14 million exception. Last season, we only had about 3.6, 3.7 between the two players, just because Wiseman's contract was very low. And even Jackson's wasn't that high. But because Halliburton is on a crazy big deal, the exception's a little higher. So someone like the Celtics are going to get some money for Tatum's exception. The Blazers are probably going to do the same with Lillard now that he's over there. But teams like Dallas, they're probably not going to end up using it. They're probably not going to end up getting it because Kyrie should be back by the All-Star break. And players like Mo Wagner, DeJounte Murray, Drew Smith should all be coming back here next season. So right now the Pacers are one of the only teams that are going to be eligible for that exception. They've already been approved. But we also just got to see what other teams are getting, because the Celtics not only lost Tatum, they also traded away two key pieces of that championship team from 2 seasons ago. So that's going to be a completely different team, built completely around Derek White and Jaylen Brown. And the Blazers are still rebuilding. They brought back Dame. I mean, it's good to see him back in a Blazers uniform. But it's going to be an interesting adjustment, especially if Drew Holiday does stay in Portland. Just kind of seeing how Shaedon Sharpe develops, seeing how Donovan Clingan develops. Robert Williams is probably going to leave that team. When healthy, one of the best defenders in the league. But enough of Portland, kind of just talking about Hallie here. You know, we can utilize that money if there's still any big free agents that we can sign for a little bit of money. It would most likely have to be a 1-year deal. If for some reason, I'm just going to throw out some names. I don't think a lot of people will agree with these names, but just some players that are still free agents that could potentially come on a 1-year deal. I mean, a Russell Westbrook. Never in my life would I have thought to say, I wouldn't mind Russell on my team. I mean, I wouldn't mind him off the bench. I don't think he's going to start. He would start for us, but he's someone that hasn't been picking up like crazy big deals, and he's still a free agent. Sign him for a year, see what he does, and then he just walks next summer, since we probably won't be able to re-sign him. But who knows? Maybe that could be used. Maybe to trade for a backup or something if more injuries pile up, because Pacers have had a bad luck of injuries at the beginning of the season. I mean, they piled up like crazy last year. Our whole defensive anchors, like all of our defensive anchors, were out. We had Shepard, Nembhard, and Nesmith all out for 15, 20-plus games. So that's not something I want to see. I want to see how healthy we can be. And, like always, I'm excited for the year. Hopefully more stuff comes out today or tomorrow, and we can get some more topics out and talk to you all. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go, Sirs.